Hello and welcome to Inside the Squad. Today, again, we're talking with two more players and we discuss their journey through the military and then becoming civilians and how that's affected them and moving on to the England Military Veterans Football Team. So strap yourselves in and let's get into it.
My name's Dean Ellis. I was in the Royal Engineers for 12 years. I joined in 2011 and I got out just coming up to 3 years ago to the day. Um, During my time serving, I played quite a lot of football. I played core football mostly. Really enjoyed doing that. Had a bit of a relatively easy route through from training. I met some of the important people, as you know, what it's like within the forces. I met some of the people who hold all the decisions and kind of got fast tracked through to the core team. That was at least the first 6 years of my military career, getting around with a tracksuit on, which was nice and fun. I was sort of on the fringes of the army team. I kind of feel like I didn't make the most of my opportunities, but I did know a lot of the army players and played against them on a weekly basis. So if I could go back, I probably would have committed myself a little bit more to try and make it that way. But it was a good squad. I've got no doubt there's a lot of the lads who are within the group that'll be there. So yeah, that was a competitive time. Career wise, I always aimed after becoming an instructor. That was what I wanted to do when I was in the forces. I wanted to become an engineering instructor. So I managed to achieve that kind of on the back of when I was playing football all the time. I decided I was going to have to do a little bit of work at some point. It tends to be the way it comes full circle for most people. And when I started applying myself at my job, I had a bit of success and I managed to get to the Royal Engineering Military School down at Gibraltar Barracks. And that's kind of where my career peaked, really. I kind of achieved what I wanted to do. I wasn't playing football. I was still playing football quite a lot at the time, but on the back of that, I was starting to get a few more injuries. I was starting to get towards 30 and didn't recover as quickly from what I had done when I was younger. Probably didn't look after myself as well as I wanted to. So at that point, I started. I had a child as well. My wife gave birth to our son while I was at the school. So that kind of started shifting my priorities. So it was a culmination of things. Really, I started looking towards the exit, which led to a posting back up north. I got myself up to North Yorkshire, back to Ripon, and decided it was going to be sort of after leaving the army. As you do, getting to the half pensionable stage at the 12-year point, it just sort of made sense. Plus, my son was starting to get a bit of a Yorkshire accent, and I didn't want that being a Geordie and that. So that did sort of take us towards the military exits. Really enjoyed my time. I feel like I left on my own terms. During resettlement, it was I was looking towards the sort of site management, project management side of life. There was a lot of people going down project management at the time. I didn't necessarily know what that entailed. So I did end up going down that route. Um, I joined a company called Atkins Realis, so I went into consultant project management. And I mean, it wasn't a straightforward resettlement period, but I did make a lot of plans and a lot of things I wanted to do did go to plan. However, when I was getting towards the end, I had that kind of flap that a lot of people do. Am I doing the right thing? And the job fell through at that time. So then I landed the Atkins Realis role, came out, and did 1 year with them to understand like the realities of being a civvy again. I guess after 12 years, I probably underestimated how different it was out in Civvy Street and kind of the things that you took for granted when you were inside the wire and you had everything around you. I did find my bearings, though. I did start to get to grips with the commercial world in particular. So getting stuck into a big nuclear project. I did have other veterans with us as well. My line manager was ex-Navy. He was a sound bloke, so he kept us on the straight and narrow. I started to get that kind of drive again that I'd lost when I was in the military. So as I say, once I'd reached the military school, I kind of lost my drive a little bit. I didn't really have that end goal in mind anymore, and I started to get that back with Atkins. So very quickly started to settle into my role, and then after a year, realizing that you're not fixed to a posting anymore, and you have got a little bit of autonomy over where you want to be, applied for a different role, and I picked up a full project management role with Jacobs, who are another engineering consultancy nearby. So as it stands now, I had done another year with them before I started looking around again. I think I was almost I probably treated my 3 years in Civvy Street a bit like an army posting and being like, right, where are we going next, or what job comes next, or I'm now in my third job, but actually I feel like I hit a little bit of a point with Jacobs in my second year where I was thinking, kind of done everything that I was meant to do when I left the army. Everyone says you're supposed to get this, you should have more of this, you should get paid this. And then at that 2 year point, I started thinking a little bit more about, well, what really matters, what's important, what do I want? I've obviously got a young family now. I'm living back home. I've managed to land this job where I spend all my time at home, but I feel like I'm missing something. So kind of went back on this search, and I found a job that has a bit more balance. So it's a lot more leaning towards construction once again. So I'm in a project management job for National Gas, and I'm dealing with a sizable project, but it actually feels like I've gone a little bit closer to where I came from. So I've gone a little bit more towards the camaraderie on a construction site, but still having retained the sort of flexibility, work from home to deal with my sort of family requirements, to lean back in with sport and get back in with football, which I probably didn't have the time to do as much before, and to do things like probably take a bit more care of myself with doing phys and things like that. That's really good for your mental health, which again, when you're under the stresses of being on Civvy Street in particular, when you're not necessarily used to it, probably take the toll a little bit on you. So I think that takes us up to where I am now. I'm in quite a demanding role at the moment in my third year of still pretending how to be a civvy, and no one's taught us I'm doing it wrong yet. But I'm starting to make those connections again, get back to the things that sort of matter, and yeah, I'm starting to feel like I'm heading in the right direction for sure.
My name's Ben Baxter, 24, from Newcastle. Was in the Navy for 5.5, 6 years as an engineering technician, marine engineer. Served 2018 to 2024. Ships I was on was the HMS Diamond and HMS Tyne. Two deployments on the Diamond, the CSG 21, and then monitoring the UK waters on HMS Tyne. Played football for the bases and the ships that I was on. Played football from a young age, from about 12, 13, and then sort of stopped playing regularly when I joined the Navy. But since leaving, I'm back into it now, so I'm playing Saturdays and Sundays. And I also represent the Newcastle United Armed Forces Supporters Club football team. We've had 2 games against the Sunderland veterans, been successful in both, winning 5-1 in the first one and then 7-0 in the second one, which was last year. Hopefully make it 3 in a row this year. Looking forward to playing for England. Fantastic opportunity and a great cause for what it is. Being involved in the first one, I think it'll be special, and hopefully it can grow on to be something bigger and better in the coming years, and more globally recognised and more teams involved. And yeah, just proud to be a part of it.